Hi, my name is Alex. I'm an environmental educator here at Forfar Field Station, and today we're going to walk along our beach and find some marine inverts to share with you all. For a brief overview of inverts, they are animals that do not have a backbone and make up about 90% of Earth's animals. A lot of inverts can be found on the shoreline in intertidal zones, which changes daily with how much water it's under, how hot or cold it is, and even salinity. The inverts that live here are able to adapt to these constant changes. Now that we know a bit about inverts, let's go find some. Crabs can be found running along the Forfar beach all the time. If you happen to get up early and are super quiet, you may be able to see them scurrying along the sand. The ones that we most commonly see here are ghost crabs. They blend in really well to the sand and dig holes to hide in. Crabs are part of the Anthropoda phylum, which is the biggest phylum in the animal kingdom and accounts for 80% of all known animal species. Main characteristics of this phylum is that they have jointed legs and molt their hard exoskeletons. We also sometimes see blue crabs hanging out on the flats. Blue crabs are sought out for here for their meat. They are easily recognizable by their bright blue claws and fainter blue color all around their bodies. Conch is also seen in the Bahamas as well. The conch that we find here are queen conchs and are part of the phylum Mollusca, which is the largest marine phylum. The conch shell is made out of calcium carbonate and is secreted by their mantle, which is an internal cavity and layer of tissues that help house all of their organs within their shell. We find them all over Andros, and it is fun to see their little eyeballs poke out and say hi, and see them hop along the sand with their foot that is equipped with an operculum. The thing that conchs are most known for here in the Bahamas is, unfortunately, as meat to eat. This wouldn't be a huge problem if they were not listed as an endangered species. In CITES, which is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, they are listed under Appendix 2, meaning they are not threatened with extinction, but may become so if regulations are not controlled better. As a rule, people are not supposed to take conch if they're not matured yet and have a flared lip kind of like this one. At Forfar, we just encourage our guests not to partake in eating conch during their visit here. Sponges, although they may not look alive, are very much alive and are inverts as well. The ones that we find here are found at the flats right across from Forfar. Sponges are part of the Porifera phylum, which is Latin for pore-bearing, which is perfect considering they have a ton of tiny little holes covering the surface of their body. They form into one of two different morphologies, including encrusting, which means growing like moss would, or freestanding, where it grows up and out like a tree. Sponges are made up of a ton of individual cells, all functioning together, and since they cannot get up and walk around, they eat through filter feeding. They bring in water through their pores, lined with collar cells that take in any nutrients that are in the water. Any excess water is pushed out through a big hole in the sponge called the osculum. One invert that you're almost guaranteed to see here if you are near the water is a sea star. This is a red thorny sea star, but there are many different variations of sea stars, including brittle stars and also cushion stars. We usually see red thorny sea stars when doing shoreline walks around Saddleback or even at Money Point. This one was found at low tide in the flats. The phylum sea stars are part of the echinoderm phylum. A main characteristic of the echinoderm phylum is that it has 5 parts to it. This is called pentaradial symmetry, meaning 5 points stem out from around a single point. Here, you can see that the sea star has 5 arms that extend from the middle. They also have 2 feet that stretch across their 5 arms. If you have ever been to a touch tank at an aquarium and picked up a sea star, you've probably felt these 2 feet suction onto your hands. The sea star uses these 2 feet for a few different things. The 2 feet are part of the water vascular system. They bring in water from the top of the sea star, also called the arboreal surface, and the water travels through a series of canals to reach the 2 feet, which help the sea star move around the sea floor or open up bivalves to eat and transport its food to its mouth. Even though these inverts may seem like they don't mind being picked up, it is important to remember that they really should not be picked up. It can stress them out and even put them in danger of predators. If we do decide to pick any of them up as environmental educators, we make sure it is done in a calm and respectful manner, and that is the animal that is always in the water. But we would rather see them hanging out in their natural habitat. Thanks for watching today's video. If you have any more questions about inverts or want to talk about an invert that we didn't talk about today, let us know.